Welcome back to Stack Your Points. As always, I'm Matt. She's RJ, and he's Lonnie. How's everyone doing tonight? RJ, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I work with a bunch of people out of Tennessee, and the Red Sox drafted a Vols pitcher in the baseball draft that I know nothing about, but a bunch of my friends were very excited who follow Tennessee baseball. So, in 1 to 7 years, I'm going to have a Tennessee Vols pitcher potentially pitching for the Red Sox.
Let me guess. This is high first round pick,
Yes,
highest pick since David Price.
I believe so.
Not bad. Lefty?
Potentially.
Okay, fair enough.
It's before the All-Star break. I haven't really tuned into baseball yet.
Yeah, putting the draft at the All-Star break is weird. I missed the 67 round nonsense. Anyway, Lonnie, how are you today, sir?
Feeling good, looking great. How you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. I have a feeling our news roundup is going to be something interesting this week.
Don't ruin it for anyone. Don't even ruin it for me. I don't want to talk about it till we talk about it.
As you wish, sir. Let's jump into topics. And RJ, your topic this week.
So, my topic is a bit of a fun one because we've been talking so much about co-brands. If you could only have co-brands, how would your strategy change? What cards would you, quote, need to pick up to fill some gaps? Would you keep the partners you currently have, or would you adjust based on what is out there in the co-brand space? Matt, as the most free agent of the three of us by leaps, bounds, and margins, I'm going to go to you first.
Planes, trains, and automobiles. If I could only go co-brand, yeah, I think I'd just go full Hilton. The Surpass and the Aspire is more than enough to cover most of my needs. Gas, grocery, dining, all at 6 or 7%. Booking airlines and rental cars domestically, all at seven times points. Booking directly at a Hilton, huge number of points with diamond status on the Aspire. Go to a Hilton 4 times a year. Super easy side quest. I think I can manage going to a Hilton 4 times a year with the Hilton Surpass card. Shouldn't be a problem. Resort credit on the Aspire. Sure, I could do it. It's an optional side quest, but I could utilize that. No significant issue. Biannual, which sucks, but semi-annual, which sucks, but whatever. Free night certificate. Family of 3 standard room, pretty doable. Expecting that upgrade would not be high on my list of things. Or I could do a staycation with me and my partner, or a night with me and my partner, and we just book a room and potentially get that upgrade far easier with 2 versus 3. Hilton would be significantly easy to adopt. It would be very easy to adopt. Yeah, the cost of entry is $700 for now, but I know what I'm getting, and at absolute bare minimum, I'm getting 3 times points per dollar. No foreign transaction fees, which is also cool, but also no elevated earnings outside the US, which whatever, that's the trade you make, and you roll with it. I'd probably just go full in on Hilton if it was just a co-brand only world, because the earning is spectacular and you know what you're getting.
No JetBlue in this world. You'd run everything through Hilton.
If okay, so JetBlue today put out like this targeted offer for up to 10,000 JetBlue points and temporarily raised their spending, their multipliers, like JetBlue specifically 10x. Gas went up to 4x, the drugstores went up to 4x, and grocery went up to 5x. If those were the multipliers for the JetBlue Premier card, I would probably go with the JetBlue Premier card if that was the way that the card was structured, not in a like not in a temporary fashion, but if it was actually 10x, 5 on grocery, 4 on gas, 4 on drugstore, I could live with or without dining, and 1x everything else, and lower the cap, lower the spend requirement on tiles for a $500 annual fee card. Yeah, I would just run that card. But looking at the JetBlue Premier card today versus the Hilton cards today, hands down Hilton.
Okay. What card? I know they didn't put this in the rundown, but I'm gonna ask it for you now. What card would be the hardest to give up?
From the bank issued cards, it would be between the autograph or the CSR, but with the CSR changes and not sure how the CSR changes will work for me in October. Lonnie and I are in the same boat, and it sucks. Why the hell did Chase do that? Because they're stupid. Just a dumb decision. Soft 20 on the table. Just absolutely stupid.
Could have been an email. Could have been an email.
Could have been email, sure. Or they could have just not done that.
Or not said anything at all.
Yeah. So not sure how that's going to affect me until the absolute tail end of the year. I could probably just throw it away on principle and just go with whatever. But the autograph card, man, that card does a lot for me. But the 3 times Hilton points base would soften the blow significantly.
Lonnie, I have a feeling I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. How would you handle the co-brands? Only co-brands, nothing but co-brands, and how's your partnerships changing, and what bank issued card would you miss the most?
Yeah, I think I'm going to switch to Delta.
Can I just say, every time either RJ or myself say, Lonnie, I think I know where you're going to go with this, Lonnie intentionally turns left. Probably because he's annoyed at us.
No, but I'm in way too deep with United to ever leave them. They got my passport. They're on the deed to my house. I don't pay the bank on a car note. I just pay it to United. Like, they own. I can't leave United. I just can't. I can't start over. I can't hit factory data reset and switch airlines and go. I might be able to fly on another airline once or twice, but I can't leave them. So they're still my partner. And Chicago for life. We just got to do it. We just got to go Chicago for life. I got to represent. So I'm going to stick with them. Now, as for my hotel, I would choose at least one hotel. I'd prefer to narrow it down. It probably wouldn't be IHG, to be honest, because yes, I love Intercontinentals, but you can get so much between a Holiday Inn and Intercontinental. It's really like the gap for IHGs. Either you're staying at like a Holiday Inn, a Staybridge Suite, something like that, or Intercontinental. Whereas with Hilton and Marriott, you have such a broader spectrum of the Holiday Inn-esque, or let's just use Hilton, the DoubleTree, the Embassies, the Hilton, the primary Hilton brand, the Conrad, the Waldorf. As you can see, you got such a wider spectrum that it will probably be Hilton or Marriott. I don't know which one yet. As I've mentioned, I am testing them both out. I am Hilton for 2025. I am, so far, I'm Marriott for 2026 at the moment, now that I think about it, except for 1 or 2 Hilton trips. Anyway, I will see which one actually works out better for me in the long run, and then I will probably just go all in on United and one of those 2 hotel brands. But I wouldn't change my partners. No. I'm not gonna switch that much up on you, RJ. I'm very predictable in this question.
Lonnie suddenly signing up for the free spirit card just to throw everything into chaos.
I really thought he was going to go Southwest just to really take a left turn and go out.
The last time I paid for a check bag, I don't either. No, I'm not.
That left turn in Albuquerque, no less.
Co-hosts on this channel don't necessarily have a great history in the Southwest of the U.S. Hopefully that does not
or
continue.
The South. Don't even have to be Southwest.
Also that.
Yeah.
For me, like it's gonna be Delta, Hilton, and IHG. I think those three really are the ones that suit me best. I like the coverage of Hilton and IHG together. The Surpass is gonna become an Aspire at some point, so there is that. As soon as Amex lets me, basically. For me, the adaptation, because my Hilton business is my primary card, it's my catch-all because of the 5X. Not a lot changes, right? My backup is my IHG card. So again, not a ton changes. And then I have the Delta portal as I need it with the Delta card for a double dip on the MQDs there. So for me, it wouldn't be that much of a change. It would be odd, but I don't actually think it would change all that much. The card I would miss the most,
You've let go
I
of the
let
green. You've let go of the gold at some point.
go of the green, I've let go of the gold. The business gold is gone. I think I would miss. I think for the simplicity, the Blue Business Plus is just so easy, right? It's 2x. I don't have to, there's no credits, there's nothing. It's 2x. It's the easiest card in my wallet to justify, right? 2x everything. 2x
Yep.
everything MR points. So that, and it's one of the best looking cards in my wallet. And I use mobile wallet for everything, so I see my cards a fair bit. So probably that one of the bank issued cards. I have the Delta cards, so the Platinum I would miss some of the perks, but I have redundancy there.
It's fair. All right. Thanks, RJ. Lonnie, your topic this week.
My topic this week. Give me 1 sec because I got to jump back over to it because I wrote a lot down. Got to get back to my notes. I'm also talking about co-branded cards, but co-branded cards versus first-party travel reward cards.
Sure.
With the rising cost of these annual fees, we are 100% at a point where the amount of cards we need to be optimal changes. Now, I know this is going to be very similar to RJ's question, but it's really not. So what are your thoughts on the changing landscape of, well, first off, the annual fees and how that affect us as consumers of this credit card space and how they choose their next particular card? Once again, like I said, very similar to what RJ had said, but I'm not going to say I recycled my thing, but I wasn't here last week, so this is my
That's your topic from a little bit ago.
yeah, this is my topic from a while ago. Anyway, but just for anyone listening, yeah, he just asked the same question. No, I didn't. They're different. But as I had mentioned, and I've said this before, is that you can actually make a pretty strong optimal setup with just co-branded cards, especially going to bring them up again. The Chase and Amex ecosystem war or battle. I won't call it a war yet, but the battle that's currently happening or on the rise. Annual fees are going up to the point where we're all saying we got to pick one or the other. And for example, like myself, Keith and AP, we're like, maybe not either. Maybe we just bail and dip out. But with these particular changes, how do you actually see that changing the landscape come Q4 2025, Q1 2026? And right now it's a sub hunting, right? Where it's like, oh, great deal. And this fits into the ecosystem I'm already a part of, or this is a great deal. I'm under 524, or I'm not in pop-up jail. Maybe I am in pop-up jail. I'm going to get this for this, whatever. How do you see not just how all of this landscape changes, but how how it affects how we choose our next cards? You know what, RJ, Matt keeps going to you first, so I'm going to go to you first too.
So I think that the days of, and again, this is for most people, if this does not apply to you, go get some popcorn. I think the days of just collecting cards like Pokemon for most people are done, right? There was a period of time where even the really premium cards had Pokemon. That could be our next joint venture, guys. We could do Pokemon.
I actually got it I bought my son a Happy Meal and it was in there, and it's actually a valuable card. So I should get like a little safety sleeve for it.
Get it graded.
Yeah. But I think the days of just, I have the CSR for this, and I have the Platinum for this, and I have the Aspire for this, and I have the United Club for this. I think those days are going to be over soon, right? If they're not already. And look, if you have the money for those annual fees and you want to pay it and you can justify it, I'm not your mother, I'm not your girlfriend, I'm not your daughter. Go forth and conquer. But I think for most people, those days are done. And I think that being more selective and not necessarily maximizing every single category, but having a strong catch-all for yourself is going to be a better way forward. I have said it, my Hilton business is my catch-all card. It's 5x everything for Hilton. I stay at Hilton's a lot. For me, that is completely worth giving up anything that I would quote give up by using the Blue Business Plus as my primary catch-all and waiting for some bonus, right? So for me, because I'm into Hilton and by extension Delta, I can use my Platinum targeted, I can use different cards in a targeted way, and it all works for me. For other people who have all of these premium cards that they've collected because they could, I think now they actually have to use a little bit more planning and logic and not just be like, oh, I want this one benefit, I'll go with it. Or if you are somebody who's been using more logic, like you actually have to, quote, justify these cards now. If you're like, oh, I fly, so I want this card, cool. But do you actually use the benefits or do you just like the fact that you have the card? And if you just like the fact you have the card, that's fine. I am not judging you for having a card that you don't use fully. We all have cards that we want just to want them, and that's fine. But know that. Have some ability to know yourself. Have some ability to say, I have this card because I want this card. That's the reason I have it. If you say that, if you fully know that and tell me that, we're kosher. We're good. I do not care. Like, I will not judge you for that because that's fine, but you have to know it. And I think a lot of people are waking up to realize, oh, I have cards that I pay multiple $100s for, and I don't actually know why I have it other than I've had it for 6 years and I don't know how not to have it. There are a lot of people who are coming to terms with that with the CSR. I've had the CSR at 550 for X number of years, and it was whatever before that. And I just have it, and I've been using it, and I use it for travel, and I use it for this, and I use it for that. But why? What? Why? And I think that why is what people are coming to terms with and having a really hard time coming to terms with. And then they look at an Aspire or they look at a Brilliant and they go, why not that? Brain, why not that? And they don't have an answer. And then they have this fight internally of, but I have the CSR, but the CSR is not the CSR of a month ago. So maybe the Brilliant or maybe Aspire or maybe whatever card works better. And I think that tension is getting a lot of people who are deep in the credit card game caught off guard and they don't know how to handle it. They do not know how to handle that tension. And we're seeing a lot of people have a lot of feelings out loud because of that tension. And that's okay. But like, you can't act like Chase, quote, did something wrong when it comes to redesigning a card. You can say it's not for me. You can say that the rollout is stupid. You can say that these credits aren't like naturally congruent to each other if you're not like in a city. Like you could say a lot of things, but you can't say, quote, Chase did something wrong because all they did was redo their card. You can pick at a lot of points on it, but that tension is your tension. That tension is not Chase's tension. Chase does not have tension with this. So I think that, look, I'm going to be honest, right? There's a lot of men who could use a lot of therapy in the credit card game that I think are using the credit card roadmaps that they put out as sort of their own therapy. And perhaps maybe go see a therapist because it might make you feel better and maybe you won't spend 15 minutes raging about the fact that Chase took your safety blanket away as a topic for a thing. Or maybe you won't use the same 3 poses in your credit card intro videos because you like have some taste. Maybe that.
Can we get a Talkspace sponsorship?
If we vet the therapy company, I'm not opposed to telling people to go therapy.
I like my person so far.
Good. Therapy is great. More people should do it.
Yep. Yep. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'm the soapbox has been returned to Lonnie to pass along.
Oh, thanks. So now I will pass it over to Matt. And my statement of passing it to RJ first, because Matt keeps going to it first, was not a shot at Matt in any way, shape, or form. I was just being funny.
That shot of the three poses is also not a shot at Matt, nor the you need therapy ranting about the chase card. Matt's reasons for ranting about the chase card, I will contend are valid.
Ooh, thank you. So, what are my thoughts on the changing landscape of annual fees and how they may affect how customers choose their next card? Customers need to be a little bit more vigilant, and that's partially why we're here with the podcast or our various channels or being a part of the YouTube credit card space, because we want people to be more discerning credit card users. We want folks to dig in a little bit more than surface value because, oh, 4x on grocery sounds amazing. Yes, 4x on grocery, and if you need to ever cash out your, like, with the intention of doing international travel or with the intention of booking travel, is one thing versus 4x on grocery, and you have the flexibility to oh shit your way out and cash out for money should money ever be a concern, are two different ways to think about 4x on grocery. Now, I think that with the changing landscape, you are seeing two big the two behemoths at the very top, kind of pushing for overall control of one's wallet, one way or another. Now, I believe that American Express and Chase would much rather you go with their primary cards, but I don't think that the folks at American Express or Chase Card Services are going to care if you go out and use the co-branded cards, as long as you are in American Express's ecosystem or you're in Chase's ecosystem. I don't think they're losing sleep if you're going United versus Delta or IHG versus Hilton. They just want you to stay either under the Chase umbrella or under the American Express umbrella. How this is going to affect the Citis and Capital Ones and Wells Fargo's of the world, like, they're going to have to step up at some point. And by stepping up, it's either going to be raising annual fees or creating cards that plant a new flag in the ecosystem, in the landscape, and that say, we're here to contend and we want your business. We're going to lose some money to get your business, but we're going to offer you something that they used to offer that you miss. It's the only way that the Capital Ones and Cities and Wells Fargo's of the world can get major attention. I do think that there is going to be a co-brand versus first party, sure, but the first party issuer doesn't care if you go co-brand or you go first party. They want you to spend your money through their card network first. So if you fly United, Chase doesn't care if you're going through United or Chase, or you're going through Chase's family of Ultimate Reward earning cards. I'm sure they would prefer you to go through the Ultimate Reward earning cards, but if you're going through United, no rain off their back. That was stupid. But insert idiom here that works. I think that American Express doesn't care if you go through Delta, doesn't care if you go through Hilton, doesn't care if you go through membership reward earning cards. They want you to put your money through a card with the American Express logo on it. As long as you do that, they don't care. But we are at a point where the amount of cards we need to be optimal does change. Like, you don't need all three major travel cards between American Express, Capital One, and Chase. You don't need 6 different cards to accomplish maybe one goal. Your wallet's going to change drastically over the next couple of years. You may not get value out of the top end lifestyle travel cards between American Express and Chase. If you're not getting value out of them, maybe leaving both of those ecosystems could benefit you by looking at a Capital One or looking at Wells Fargo or looking at Citi, because they still offer pretty solid value, even if that value is just 2% cash back. Because all three have a way of giving you, Capital One doesn't give you 2% cash back, but Citi and Wells give you 2% cash back at bare minimum, right? You're going to reevaluate, and Lonnie today in his members only video did an audit of, re-audited his whole setup and found that there was a card that could give him more value. You're going to have to audit and re-audit your wallets and make sure that the cards that are there are going to give you value. Maybe it requires slimming down your wallet. Maybe it requires adding another card that was previously a bit player, but now could be a much bigger player because you're looking to replace some of the value that you have lost from changes at the top end of the ecosystems for you. If you don't have Sapphire Lounges around you, but you have United Clubs, the United Club card probably makes a lot more sense now at $6.95 instead of trying to carry that card plus a $7.95 Sapphire Reserve that's not doing anything for you. Look at reducing that $800 that you can put either back in your wallet or reinvesting around your wallet to add maybe the Quest card to make the Quest card and the Club card a powerful setup for you. It's not the greatest earning setup of cards, but if they produce enough value for you, reinvesting that $800 into the United ecosystem makes more sense. It's not going to worry Chase too much because you're still spending through Chase's network. So you're good there. There's different ways you're going to have to reevaluate. And as long as the value is there for you, you're going to be good. But how will it affect it? It's just going to depend on the amount of work and research that you're willing to put into it. If you don't want to research things, a solid 2% catch-all card is going to be the best Hippocratic credit card you could apply for. First, do no harm. Do no harm to your wallet. Get a 2% catch-all card. Easy as that. Especially one at no annual fee. If you're not willing to invest significantly into an ecosystem because you don't know how to use it, or you don't know how it works, or why am I using United cards when I haven't flown United in 6 years? It's worth auditing and rebalancing your wallet. Like, you should always try to do an audit. You should always try to reassess things, especially now with macroeconomics being broken and the card companies just going for whatever they can get out of all their customers, amplifying their total revenue out of you. If you don't need to go with them, don't. Go where you're going to get more value for yourself. I turn the mic back.
I was just making sure you were done.
Yeah.
That's all. That's what the pause was. No, that makes a whole lot of sense, and I appreciate both of you for it. Where quantity doesn't always mean quality when it comes to the type of cards. And personally, in the way that I see the credit card space is going, this recession, if you will, is real. It's happening. We're watching it happen right now. So I just would love to hear. I liked to hear your opinions. Not that I didn't love, but I did enjoy hearing your opinions on how you perceive this transition.
Yeah. Thank you, Lonnie. We'll go to my topic, which is coincidentally on the topic of the credit card recession, which I think is a little forced, but
we are so smooth in the segues between our topics tonight.
Yeah. We went from joy to nihilism in 2 easy steps.
Oh, yeah. Me? Nihilist? Yes. I resemble that remark. But with this talk of a credit card recession, who's really making out it feels like issuers have found plenty more blood from the turnip. Annual fees are increasing, credits are getting worse, underwriting will be tightening. Chase and American Express are actively demanding loyalty to them or fealty to them, whichever you prefer to use. It seems like the normal person or even the normal credit card enthusiast is yet again holding the bag. And so I pose to you guys, like, with this credit card recession, and I'm still not convinced it's a legit recession, but I understand where the term is coming from. Again, the greater macroeconomic picture is beyond broken. The issuers are getting more, and they're tightening their underwriting. Credits and ways to get value is getting worse. Annual fees are increasing. It feels like normal people, and we can define normal however we feel best, are just holding the bag, are going to be stuck holding the bag. Like, where do you guys fall in this? What do you guys think about this? Instead of going to RJ first, Lonnie, I'll throw to you first. Where are you on this?
It worked. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted.
You make me self-conscious every time you bring that up. And that's why I have to throw to you first after that.
I knew that. I kind of leaned into it. But the thing is that RJ has been stealing my answers all episodes. So I just wanted to get out first.
That's fine.
And it worked. But to get back to your question, who's making out like a bandit? The house always wins. How many Vegas references is that tonight? 6, 5?
Enough.
Anyway,
you're really you're held up on the FedEx last dollar in Vegas.
You had 2 of them as well, so don't throw it all on me. You had some Vegas references as well. But
That's
anyway,
true.
no matter what happens, the house is always going to win. But I think in this particular instance, the house is being a little bit greedy. Okay. And we, as the card holder / consumer, obviously are not just the ones holding the bag, that we are turning out our pockets where we're being priced out. So not necessarily demanding loyalty, but the cheaper option is loyalty. And that's something I can't say that is normal in this particular credit card space, is that, and I say that because how many of us have multiple ecosystems? How many of us have multiple cards? But now it's, if you want to live that particular life, it costs too much. That's the direction that we're going. Where, yeah, Chase, United came out and raised their annual fee. Then Chase came out, did their first party, raised their annual fee. Amex says we're going to raise our annual fee, and not by a little bit, like significant numbers. So not like, oh, a refresh just went up $50. No, like significant numbers, like $200,
hundreds of dollars. Yeah.
What happens when, and we haven't even gotten to Capital One, any other issuer yet, but what happens when they're like, yo, we can raise this $200 and people will stick around?
Yep.
We're going to raise it $200. And so we're getting our pockets turned up. And that's what I mean by they're not fielding our loyalty, but we're being forced into it because not being loyal just is going to cost too damn much. We're already talking about it. For the third time tonight, is it A, Chase, B, Amex, C, Chase and Amex, or D, neither?
What?
Like, that's a real multiple choice question I'm going to deal with at the end of this year. And I don't know if it's A, B, C, or D. I honestly don't. And that's just there. We talked about Bilt. I'm already going $0 annual fee Bilt. I ain't got it. I got it, but my pockets don't want it. Like, I don't want another $500 card. You see what I'm saying? And so with all of this, as you were mentioning, I think we're at a point right now where the banks are just being greedy, where they understand money is tight. they understand that people are want to spend less. Consumerism is up, but being able to pay off that said consumerism is down. Look at Klarna, look at Afterpay, look at Affirm. Hell, look at the credit card space and how much credit card debt is sitting out there right now. Where they're like, you know what? We want the good people that can actually pay a portion of this back. Maybe we make a little bit of money on it. Maybe they let it roll over a statement or two. And but the fact of we're going to lose out all this money from the rest of it, the other 85%, somebody has to pay for it. And it's the good people, it's us that are going to have to pay for it. The ones that are doing the right thing. So we're the ones left holding the bag.
Yep.
I don't necessarily see this as getting better. The only way out of it is through it. And the only way through it is for us to do what's best for us. And what's best for us might be, as we had talked about, maybe it's dropping down to only co-branded cards. Maybe it's picking one card ecosystem over another, picking a side, if you will. We have to get through it, but the thing is, no matter what, at the end of the day, even if we get through it, it's never going to change. It's not going to go back. We've talked about this before. How often has a credit card issuer reduced an annual fee? I think there was one example out there where something went from like maybe $100 to $49.
US Bank took it off the Connect, I believe, about what,
Yeah.
a year ago?
Yep.
Yeah. There was like one out of how many chances, options, and cards that are out there. And so even if this stuff hits, I think it's going to stick. It might stick around for a while, but I don't see it going down. And so
Yep.
we are holding the bag. The employees of the credit card company, they're still getting their paycheck. The leadership of the credit card companies, they're still getting their shares in their paycheck. The board of directors, the CEO, the shareholders, they're still getting theirs. And how do they get there? Who's paying for that? We are. We're holding the bag.
Yep. Yep. RJ, your thoughts here?
I don't disagree with anything Lonnie said. I don't. What I will say is, I don't think for most, quote, normal people, this is a problem. I think if you have a CSP, a Delta Gold, a couple of no annual fee cards at insert 3 random banks here, I don't think this is hitting you, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think most, quote, normal people are feeling it. And I think that's part of the problem. Because if it's only hitting people like us, we're such a small overall percentage, and we're the most costly percentage. So I think the banks are incentivized to not necessarily care what we think and make sure our parents or our cousins or our coworkers are happy, and happy by applying and spending on the cards. So I think that those two groups are at odds, right? We're always at odds, but I think we're more at odds now because of how things are doing. I have a friend that I work with who has a CSP. She's got a couple of Delta cards. She's in the game, but she's not us. We are an aberration in the community. And she's annoyed at some of the changes, but it doesn't really impact her in a fundamental way. I have other friends who use 2 cards for everything. Like, they've got like a US Bank card that they use for everything, and they have like a credit union credit card. Like, I don't think most normal people feel this unless they're trying to, quote, get in the game. And then you start to feel it. But if you're new to the game, you're going to pick Chase or Amex at this point, right? Like, you're not going to do what we did. And I think that differentiation, that sort of break in the generations, is what we're feeling because we're on the other side of that generational rift. Like, we're on the side where we could play in all of the sandboxes, Now we gotta pick if we're gonna do the big sandbox on the right, the big sandbox on the left. Both of those sandboxes have littler sandboxes you can get to from them, but you gotta go A or B to get there. And I think we resent it because we don't like that we feel choices being taken away. The new people have never had the choice. The people
So they don't know what
who
it's like. Yeah.
they don't know what it's like. The people who have one or two credit cards that they just use for everything, and it's either cash back, so it doesn't really matter, or it's I travel every 2 years to my cousin's family reunion and we get Comfort Plus or whatever. So it doesn't matter because all of my spend for 2 years has been going to those points and miles. And then they don't care either because when I talk about credit cards to normal people, and I do it in a fairly like benign way, I'm not like, here's a referral link. Like I do it pretty low key. They think I'm insane. They think all of us are insane. When I say I'm in a credit card Discord, most of them ask me if I need like professional help. Like half of them are joking, but like they do because it's not affecting them. They don't know what an AR, like, they don't know what interest rates are. They don't know what any of that is. Now, a lot of them pay their bill and they're not paying interest. Some are, and I try to at least get them off of that train. But, like, for so many people, this is a non factor, and the banks want those people. Now, they want the Gen Z to sign up for their cards. Amex is courting them. They want people who make a certain amount to apply for these cards and use these cards. That's all true. But they want somebody to sign up for the CSR and use the CSR for everything. They want somebody to sign up for the platinum and use the platinum for everything. So we're feeling it because they're no longer, not that they ever were, but they're not, especially right now, not catering to people who want to be in multiple ecosystems that aren't just interested in co-brands in those ecosystems. I think in a year you are going to have to pick Amex or Chase for straight bank issued cards. If you don't want to set your money on fire. If you want to set your money on fire, you can get whatever card you want. You can product change to a US BAR, you can get a CSR, you can get a VentureX, you can get a Platinum, you can get some reserves, you can get a club, like get some AA cards. If you want to set your money on fire, none of this matters, right? If you got $200,000, if you're somebody who still can get 4% on Smartly if you applied today and you just want to set money on fire, none of this matters, right? So that there's also that group who have so much money coming in that none of this matters. So the people who like still care about their money and still care about playing this game in however they choose to play it, we're the ones being squeezed. But we're such a small freaking percentage, the banks don't care. And I'm sorry, a lot of us are not used to not being cared about for different socioeconomic reasons, or complexion reasons, or gender reasons, right? We're not used to not being the center of attention, and we're not the center of attention right now. We're having a hard time with it. And I think that ultimately is why we're feeling this squeeze so acutely, because we don't get squeezed in many other aspects of life. I just gave Matt something new to talk to his therapist about.
Yeah. Sorry. Memories. Anyway. No, thanks, RJ, on that one. But yeah, attention's always nice. Anyhow, RJ, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I think you should become a member, and the best way to do that is to go to stackyourpoints.com and click on the membership tab, and it'll take you everywhere you need to go and lay out our membership tiers.
Thank you for doing that segue so I don't have to. Lonnie, any final thoughts from you?
Do I have any final thoughts tonight? Get ready for everything to change in 2026. I'm just going to sum up our episode tonight with that one line.
Winter is coming.
Oh, it's about to get cold out there. Now,
Yup.
with that being said, if you have the option to downgrade to a $0 annual fee card, take that first before you cancel. Make sure you unfreeze your credit reports before you hit the apply button. Speaking for a friend, and get ready for what's ever coming.
And if you want a Freedom Flex, Matt killed the program. Because I am somebody who called Chase today to try to get the Freedom Flex from a product change. No, like you cannot. They offered me the CSR if I added money to my credit limit because I moved it all to the IHG card, the CSP, the Freedom with Ultimate Rewards, and the Freedom Unlimited. No Freedom Flex.
I'm just so happy. The refresh is coming, guys.
The refresh, it'll be there.
The refresh is coming.
I have the Freedom card, but it's nowhere yet because the Freedom card, they don't want to update the system, so they don't care. So it's just like me waiting for the artwork to change in my digital wallet and on chase.com.
If it's anything like I've seen, some of these options will be pretty fun. But the refresh is coming. The refresh. Sorry. No Duran tonight. Anyway, we like to do a new segment where we highlight our new members and our diamond members. Our diamond members for the Stacker Points podcast are AP, Double Animal Fries, Keith, Mitch 528, and Rupert Pond. I'm not sure if it's Rupert, whichever. Our new gold members, brand new gold members. We've got Bianca, NBP, Rygress Hunter, Tim Thompson, and our new silver members include Anthony F., The Jordan Rules of Credit, Michael Pythium, Pyro777, and Tampa Travel. So thank you to all of our new members. Thank you to our diamond members. If you want to become a member, again, stackerpoints.com. You can join the memberships through YouTube and then join the Stacking Points Discord to have your membership reflected in our Discord as well. It's a nice, easy process now. You just click one button that shows what your actual membership is, and it carries over into the Discord. Yes. So
also, if your name did not get called, I run the report that I get the names off of for the different levels, usually Sunday night. Sometimes it'll take YouTube a day or two once you become a member to show it on the report I'm doing. So I promise I'm not leaving you off intentionally. Sometimes there's just a delay.
There'll be a little bit of a lag, but if you weren't caught this week, you'll be caught next week. So we want to thank you all for watching and bearing with us for 45 minutes of build, but we needed to talk about it. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week.